What is up? And welcome back to Ask DLF. It's Tuesday. It's 9 Eastern, 8 Central, whatever it is on the West Coast. Who knows? We are excited that wherever you're from, you are joining us here on, it's not just Ask DLF, it's Taco Tuesday, as Trogdor says here. And Ed, we got all of our friends in the chat. And if you ever want to know who sometimes can control the DLF, the YouTube comments. Sometimes it's me, and you see a comment like this. If you have something you'd like us to discuss, just ask and we'll talk about it. That's right. That's right. Not Tyler when you see something like that.
It's not me. It's not me. I never make comments from the DLF YouTube channel. If sometimes I'll make comments from my own YouTube channel in the comments, but they have wisely not given me access to the YouTube channel comments. They made a wise decision, I think.
Well, I think you were going to help us with some wise decisions for any of the things that all of our commenters and like the questions that we have. And I'm excited that everybody is here. Looks like we've got a full house already. Lots of questions rolling in. And that's exactly what we're here to do. You have a question, you have something that you want us to discuss. We're here to talk about it. We're going to get smarter about playing Dynasty football. And I guess to give him a proper introduction, maybe you don't even need one, but he's Tyler Karp. He is with DLF. He's a writer, does all kind of great things. Tyler, what's going on in your world? How are you today?
Better, actually. Better. Yeah. Better. I've had a better day. I've actually done things today. I have not had my Monday and Tuesday just spent kind of burnt out. I feel a little bit better. Yeah, I don't really know why. It's a little bit better. There's a lot of stuff going on. Haven't been any bad things happen. Just some exciting stuff on my front. You check out my Twitter, you'll see.
Good. Let's make sure you check out his Twitter for some exciting announcements. And Ed chimes in here, excited to get a rundown of the games this weekend from the homies. Yeah, like I don't remember a season where I feel like we say this maybe every year, but parity is just so strong in the NFL right now.
We say this every year, any given Sunday.
It just seems like there is just so much up in the air any given Sunday. Literally, it seems like anybody can win any game.
Yeah. I mean, I do a recap show of all the games every Sunday, like live react, or like we usually record at like midnight. Me and Ryan, who works with Cal at the Dynasty Vipers, which we should always talk about more. We should always remind the people about the Vipers.
Vipers are incredible. I've had, most people don't know, I've had some trouble with my voice, and so I've been saving it and haven't gone on the Vipers in a little while.
And
but obviously, still part of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard from reliable sources.
Yeah, I love. Let's see. Ed says, "Who are we buying, selling? We likely have trade deadlines coming as well." Yeah, that's the other thing. Is this is the time right now? Like, don't check out. This is the time in Dynasty to make moves and make your team better.
Well, that's why I don't think there should be a trade deadline.
Thank you.
I don't think there should be a trade deadline. Because if there's a trade deadline, then people go to sleep. If you had a trade deadline, I had one of the Patreon leagues. There was a trade deadline this week. A trade deadline this week. If you're 2 what is it? We've had 9 weeks or whatever. 2-8, whatever it is. What incentive do you have to check? You check waivers. But what are you doing? You can't trade. You can't do anything. You're just going to take the next 7 weeks off. Is that good for the league? Is that good for activity? It doesn't sound good, right? I mean, having people check out from the league for weeks at a time because they can't trade, that sounds not so good for league activity. People always say, it's always the same argument. Oh, there's going to be a league-breaking trade. Find me one. Find me one that really has happened. This is a straw man. It doesn't exist. This is very rare. You're far more likely to have a league-breaking trade from collusion than you are from something with a trade deadline. So get trade deadlines out of your league. I think trade deadlines are bad. If you're going to have them, limit them to the playoffs only. If you want to turn off trading during the actual playoffs, I can live with that.
That's what I suggest as well. I think during the playoffs is probably go ahead and shut it down. The teams that are out of it are out of it. It doesn't matter if they're paying attention or not.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, those are the two settings I'm fine with. Either open the whole time, or if you want to lock it up the Wednesday before the playoffs start that Thursday, I'm fine with that too. But having like a trade deadline now, that's terrible. That's like a league. I wouldn't play in that league personally. If I were, that would be a deal breaker for me.
When is your trade deadline? If you have one, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I'm actually curious about that.
Me too. Ed says, I've been trying to sell Brian Edwards. Had him all over, and he flashed a little. Time to sell. Yeah, I think his 11% target share. Yeah, I think that's he gets in the end zone, and I think this is the time.
He's such a weird player, man. Of course, looks good.
I think he should have sold in the preseason, but that's
a weird player. He looks good. He gets the snap share. He's like clearly incorporating the offense, but never gets the ball. That's so bizarre. But I would use this opportunity to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Trogdor had a good weekend. Got an early 22 first for Jimmy. I'm assuming a super flex league.
Yeah, there are people who make trades like that in every league. So
yeah,
happens.
He is undoubtedly one of the 32 best starting quarterbacks in the NFL, right?
Yes.
So I assume he'll have a job somewhere next year.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, if not in which I can't imagine San Francisco not turning the page. But, I don't know. New Orleans certainly needs a quarterback. There's a lot of teams that are going to need one. If Aaron Rodgers needs, Green Bay is going to need one too.
I expect he'll have a job. It's with the way things have been going.
Absolutely. Let's see. I love the trade of Jimmy G. Can't see his price move up past that. Yeah, no way. Here we go. Rob Downs, trade deadline trade rebuild, gives up Mike Evans, gets Tony and H Centro.
Hunter Renfrow, probably. But that's an interesting way of spelling it.
Yeah, Renfrow. Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Good call. Good call.
I mean, if you're in a rebuild, I'm fine with that. Gotta be, right? I mean, Evans is not someone you want to take past this season in a rebuild. So take what you can get.
He was in November's ADP. I was shocked. He's going off as wide receiver 24.
Is that like super shocking?
I think so. It's a lot lower than I expected, which I think it's more correct. What's more where he should be, but that is a little shocking to me.
Yeah, no, I think that the values are about right.
Yeah,
maybe a little high.
I'm surprised that people are largely getting that right. Keenan Allen just
know that the second we're not scoring points anymore, he's going to lose 5 or 6 spots in ADP and never get them back.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt. DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver 17 there, which just kind of sad, right? Like we've seen him so high for so long. Kind of sad to see the end. 29 years old, starting to get there.
Yeah, I don't want to say the end, but I'd rather have Mike Evans at wide receiver 24 than DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver 17. If I had to choose between those two options, I don't want DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is nowhere near wide receiver 17 anymore.
Yeah, Tony is at wide receiver 34 in terms of the ADP. He's on the uptrend, and you're trading away somebody who is definitely going to lose value from here forward in his career. That doesn't mean he won't get production. Don't hear what we're not saying here. He's still going to get production. His value.
You're going to get production from Hunter Renfrow. That's the thing.
Yeah, very good. Fluston says, win now team. Just swapped ETN, Damian Harris, and a second for the Chubster and a third. I'm assuming that means Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, yeah.
What do you think, Dallas?
I mean, if you got to do what you got to do, right? That's what I think.
I think this is a really good deal. Nick Chubb is.
Yeah, I mean, this is very reasonable.
Yeah. ETN, you don't have a lot of high hopes for ETN, right?
No, I don't. At all, actually.
Yeah. So for you, this is kind of a no-brainer.
I would say so. I mean, if you're trying to win and this is what you need, you do what you got to do.
What kind of role does Damian Harris have coming back now after seeing what Ramondre Stevenson did this week?
Yeah. I don't know if Harris is going to play this week. It's still up in the air. He was back at practice. I think if this game were on Sunday, he would 100% play. I think because it's on Thursday, it's up in the air.
Yeah.
He'll be back the following week, no matter what. And then when he comes back, I think he's still the starter. And Stevenson is the change of pace back. I mean, the problem is that they need to stop using, for this to work, they need to stop using a third running back at all. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to. So I don't think you're going to be able to play either when they're both healthy. I think that before you had Harris was kind of a mid RB2 and Stevenson or whoever the other guy was like a low end 3. Now I think not even really. Now I think you're going to have, I don't even think they're going to reach RB2 territory. Maybe this week against Atlanta, if Harris played, I would still rank him. It's hard to trust him, though. It's hard to know which one to trust.
Right, but we're done with the Ramondre Stevenson being inactive on game day.
No,
right?
We're done with that. Yeah, we're done with that. Yeah. We're not going back to that. You know, that's always the thing. I mean, Stevenson has become relevant faster in his career than Harris did.
Yes.
So
it says a lot. I mean, the Patriots don't normally like trusting a running back this early in their career. So
yeah, I would hesitate to invest heavily in either Harris or Stevenson in Dynasty, though. I don't really want either one. I'd rather have Stevenson at his cost.
Faith showing up, joining the party. What's up, Faith? Mata 006. I'm 6'4". Okay.
6 and 4. Yeah.
Is this your record or is this your height? Like, are you 6?
No, that's his record. His record.
It just read like you saying.
No, I know, yeah. But it's probably his record.
Would you give up 3 first, a second, Antonio Gibson for DK Metcalf and DeAndre Swift?
Yes, but I don't want to. No, I don't want to do this.
So Gibson plus what equals DeAndre Swift?
I need a first with Gibson minimum.
Okay, so then 2 firsts and a second for DK.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess that's pretty close.
1 QB, and these are 1 QB firsts. I'm fine with this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then you're not going to get any players in the 2022 class that are anywhere near DK Metcalf or DeAndre Swift. Anywhere near. You're not going to get any player near either of those two. Anywhere near. You're not even going to you might not get a player as good as Antonio Gibson in the 2022. You might need the 101 to get one player as good as Antonio Gibson. So I don't know where these firsts are. I don't know if this is super flex. But there are situations where I would do this trade. I mean, Gibson and a first for Swift. I mean, I'm probably still taking Swift. Even in Superflex, I'm probably still taking Swift. I don't think a first and Gibson is enough. Gibson to me is overvalued and overrated.
He scored
I've
twice
been saying for a long time.
The numbers weren't as good as I was expecting when I started looking into, like, I was a little. He got a good fantasy day. I'm not sure he had a great.
Terrible. He looked terrible. I actually went back and watched some of his alleged good runs. He's running with a limp. He looks terrible. I don't understand. Like, this was a breakout game because he scored 2 1-yard rushing touchdowns. He was 24 for 64 on the ground. He didn't get involved in the passing game at all. If he doesn't fall into the end zone those 2 times, you're complaining about his fantasy day. He wouldn't have done anything for you. So,
yeah.
I mean, I would use this as an opportunity to get out from Antonio Gibson. I don't want any part of him. He's so overvalued. But I don't know. This trade is what it is, but
yep.
I would look to move on.
If you are just joining us, please consider supporting the show just by subscribing to the DLF YouTube channel right down there below. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you do that. Give us some feedback. Give us some comments. Certainly love to hear from you guys. So yeah, if you get a chance, make sure you are doing those things as we keep rolling along here. PJ's joining us. What's up, PJ? Glad to see you back in the house here. Ty Cal Tuesday. That's starting to pick up some steam.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm still gonna roll with the Taco Tuesday, but
I just appreciate that everyone cares about us enough to make up our own nicknames or anything like that. The support from the people watching the show has been amazing.
Unbelievable. So I don't even know if it's possible to watch this via YouTube anymore or via Twitter anymore. I don't even understand what's going on over there. If you are watching it on Twitter, hop into the YouTube channel because that's where all the comments are coming from. I don't think you can comment at all on Twitter now.
You can't comment on Twitter.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you want to hop into fun, you should. It's a really great comment section. Lots of good conversations going on. Lots of love. Ed saying hey to Faith and PJ. Faith says hi to me. Hey, Faith, how are you? PJ, is Gallman going to be a thing? That's a question from PJ here about the Atlanta backfield. I guess with Cordell Patterson missing.
Well, he's back at practice apparently.
Oh, he's Superman.
Yeah, I don't understand. It does look like Gallman overtook Davis, though, for the backup role. That's what it looks like. Because Davis sucks. So I don't blame them.
So I did see something today. This was a comment from let's see. I gotta find it. It's from somebody in Atlanta. Maybe it's Arthur Smith, talking about how they are playing Thursday. Therefore, that's why they were using Gallman over Davis in that game.
Well, I mean, Davis is so bad that I think that maybe they could have seen something from this game and decide that they're going to continue using Gallman a little bit more.
It's true. It's Falcons head coach Arthur Smith said Wayne Gallman's week 10 usage was due to the scoreboard and quick turnaround of Thursday night. We know we have to play Thursday, so that's why you saw a heavy dose of Rosen and Gallman and the other guys.
But Gallman was active for the game in the first place. And didn't he get on the field before the score was lopsided?
It's certainly possible.
Neither
one of these guys
is so bad.
Gallman's not going to be a thing in terms of like winning your league. So no, he's not going to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't look his direction. I mean, this week against New England, I think I'll pass.
Prob says hello. What's up, Prob? How are you?
Hi.
PJ, what do you guys think about Deontay Foreman?
They're playing Houston this week, so there's opportunity. There is opportunity. I mean, if he can have, I did do my ranking, so I have Deontay Foreman right now for this week at running back 28. So there's opportunity.
Not bad. I think he has looked good. I think he's one of those, like, you're glad to see. He's post the Achilles tendon tear now for a couple years, and it looks explosive. I mean, we know that it's a Titans backfield that can produce fantasy points. I'm not really interested in playing him yet, but I could see it.
I think at this point we know Adrian Peterson is not it. So it's either going to be all of them or Deontay Foreman. It's either going to be all of them, which means you can use none of them, or Deontay Foreman is going to be the guy. Jeremy McNichols is going to have his role no matter what, but he always has. Even with Derrick Henry there, Jeremy McNichols had his role. That's not going to change. That's never going to change. He has a few more catches now than he did with Henry, but that McNichols is going to be this team's Nyheim Hines. Very inconsistent, PPR only, unreliable. Between Foreman and Peterson, I think it's clear that you can eliminate Peterson from your dynasty roster.
From any roster.
Any roster.
Yes.
Any roster. You can eliminate him. He is irrelevant. So it's either going to be Foreman or nothing.
It's time to just start the clock towards Hall of Fame.
I would lean toward nothing. I expect that they continue to use both and it's nothing. But if it's going to be one, it's going to be Foreman.
Yeah.
Between the two.
He's the one that I think we pull for dynasty wise, because there was something.
He's going
to
have any dynasty value. I more mean in terms of right now over the next few weeks. If someone gives you startable weeks, it's either Foreman or no one.
Love this question from Jordan. How do we balance Cooper Kupp's age, production, team situation, talent, etc., as we evaluate his dynasty? This is a very, very in-depth question.
Jordan's co-host came at me in my mentions.
Oh no.
Yes, Jordan and Derek co-host the Dynasty Builders Pod, which is in the DLF family of podcasts, which people should listen to. They should listen. But he came at me for being opposed to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Why wouldn't I be opposed? But I just thought that was funny. Now that Jordan's coming in with a question that has nothing to do with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards' failure, by the way. But how do we balance Kupp's on all these things? I mean, what did Kupp do last night? I mean, he had a down game because he didn't score. 11, what was it? 11 for 122. That's so bad, right? I mean, no, I mean, Kupp is the man.
And we just blame OBJ for all of that, obviously.
Oh, blame OBJ for 11 receptions. Actually, Kupp's share of the offense seemed to increase now that Woods was replaced with OBJ. So
people want the easy narrative, man. They just always want the easiest narrative possible. I mean,
No, it is. You want to blame OBJ. He's not as good as Robert Woods. So yeah, blame him, because going from Robert Woods to OBJ is a massive downgrade.
That's fair.
I mean, that's the reality. So blame him for that, because he's not as good as Robert Woods. So Matthew Stafford wasn't as good because he lost his number 2 receiver and replaced him with someone who's completely washed and has nothing left. That's all. I mean, but in terms of Cooper Kupp, you ride him. I mean, how did you value Devontae Adams coming into this season? Most people. 28-year-old wide receiver coming into this season. How did you, turning 29, how did people value Devontae Adams?
Highly.
As wide receiver 1, right? Mm-hmm. Dynasty wide receiver 1. So I think you have to value Cooper Kupp as a dynasty wide receiver 1. I don't see, I'll tell you why I have him ranked. I currently have him ranked actually right behind Devontae Adams. I have Devontae Adams at dynasty wide receiver 8, and I have Cooper Kupp at dynasty wide receiver 9.
So Jordan, the real answer to this question is you should just think of him as like being completely over the hill and washed, and you should trade him to me in our league that we're in.
I'll take him. Yeah, I'll take Cooper Kupp. Players like Cooper Kupp age well.
Yes.
I'll take Cooper Kupp. I mean, people are telling me that they would rather have Stephon Diggs in Dynasty over Cooper Kupp, and I think they're out of their minds.
All that he's to do is continue to show up to breakfast with Matt Stafford, and he's fine. If we get word that there's a rift between the breakfast buddies, then we're going to have a problem.
People act as if Cooper Kupp has never had a wide receiver 1 season before, but he was wide receiver 4 in 2019. And in 2018, he was on a pace of a wide receiver 1 before he got hurt. So people only remember last year, 2020, but he's had history. I mean, this is only his 5th season. He was an old rookie. So Cooper Kupp has had wide receiver 1 performances before. This is a little extreme, but he is a very good player and always has been.
Spock has apparently already asked you this question. So he says, I traded away Najee Harris.
I did answer this already.
OBJ plus 2022 mid-late 3rd for DeAndre Swift and Jalen Waddle. Standard scoring. Oh, no PPR.
Yeah, it's standard scoring. But I mean, this is a big victory. I mean, Najee and Swift are essentially the same to me. I'd prefer Najee, but you're splitting hairs.
It's close. It's close enough that
this other part of the trade,
to get Jalen Waddle for OBJ in a late 3rd.
OBJ is irrelevant. OBJ is irrelevant. OBJ has no dynasty value. He has no dynasty value. OBJ is a roster clogger. I've been telling people, please eliminate OBJ from your team for as long as I've been on this show, but a long time. I've been telling him this guy's done. You're never getting the old OBJ back. But people was always, yes, he will come back. No, he won't come back because he's done. He's washed. He doesn't want to. I don't even know what his deal is, but he's done. So I don't want any part of him on my dynasty team. So actually eliminating OBJ from my team actually gives me added value. I'm actually happier to just get rid of him because then I don't have to worry about having to put him in my starting lineup. It's just easier to eliminate that headache from my life.
Waddle's the kind of receiver I can see making a giant leap next year, depending on, who his coach is, who the offense coordinator is, who his quarterback is. He's the kind of wide receiver I think.
Imagine Waddle.
Could make a big jump.
Imagine Waddle with Deshaun Watson as his quarterback. Yeah. Imagine what his value could be at that point.
I am with you. John Sharkey says, contender, do I move Mike Williams and 13th pick?
I don't know how you know that, but I guess at this point.
Yeah, maybe you already know who's locked into the 101.
Yeah.
For Mike Evans. So Mike Williams and 2-1 for Mike Evans.
If you have to.
As a contender, I don't hate it, but Antonio Brown's coming back. And
that is very scary, but we don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah, we don't, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mike Williams I feel like there was a moment where it was like, oh, great, Mike Williams, but he's back to being Mike Williams.
Now we're back to the old Mike Williams. But
yeah, you missed
Mike Evans was not doing much before Antonio Brown and Gronk went out. And all of a sudden now he's become, when it was back to what it was like when he had his massive seasons, and of course he's breaking out. But he was not doing that with Antonio Brown in the lineup.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to do this. I'd be looking for a different wide receiver, probably. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, I would rather do it for.
Sure. But I'm fine doing this if I have to.
Henry in the house. What's up, Henry? Appreciate you joining us. Glad you're able to watch it live today. PJ says he traded away Fields and Waddle in a 1 QB Dynasty league.
Fields for Waddle? I mean, obviously you won with Waddle.
Yes. 1 QB league. Absolutely.
He won with Waddle easily.
Justin Fields or Jalen Hurts in Dynasty right now, Tyler?
Fields.
It probably is, but man, Jalen Hurts is probably working himself into a job next year, one way or another, right?
Yeah, probably.
So he's like, what is he right now? The QB 3, 2,
something like that.
Yeah, he is the 3 behind Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
To be fair, this was the first week that Jalen Hurts actually looked like a good NFL quarterback. Like, this was the first week that he looked like as an NFL general manager, I would want that guy as my starter. This was the first week all season. One game that he looked like I want that guy as my starter. One game.
Which is his 14th start, roughly?
But he probably only needed
13?
like one. He probably only needed 1, 2, or 3 of those games to save his job, because what is their alternative?
Yeah.
He didn't need that much. Like I told you, he didn't need to win that many games. He just needed to win a few. What are they, 4 and 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, he only needed to win like 7.
Most Philly fans that I'm connected with on Twitter don't want him back next year.
I thought I told you, like, his job was on the line based on wins. I mean, if they went 1 and 16, he was not keeping the starting job. But they've already won 4 games. I don't know how many more they need to win, but it's not that many.
Yep. Ed agrees. That's a win, 1 QB league. John Sharkey, what's Devonta Smith's value like after that blow up game?
I mean, it's substantial. I had him very high before.
Yeah, he he against the Broncos team that shut down the Cowboys. All of a sudden, like, the Eagles came to life in their passing game somehow, which was odd. But it was.
I will say that I think Devonta Smith's ADP value is too low. It's not as egregious as Jalen Waddle's ADP value, which is way too low.
He did only catch 4 passes, but 2 of them happened to be touchdowns. Like, I still am a little worried about kind of the volume, but we'll see.
If you can, I mean, the ADP says you can do this. If you can turn Amari Cooper into Devonta Smith plus, please do it. Please do it. The ADP says you can do this. You can't, but the ADP says you can. Please do that.
Yeah.
Like, the ADP still has T. Higgins way ahead of Devonta Smith, which is mind-blowing to me. That one I just don't understand at all. I don't know why he would be. I don't get it. So, if I'm not understanding something with some of this ADP. It's a little bit confusing to me, but I like Devonta Smith's value. Now, I probably won't get a lot of him because I love Jalen Waddle's value.
Yeah. Yeah. Prab comes back. Who do you target in waivers when you have no one worth dropping?
Well, I mean, that depends on who you have and who's out there. I mean, this is very vague. Give me either or on waivers. A lot of people ask me, who are you targeting on waivers? But I can't answer that question because I have no idea. I can give you a general idea of, okay, in redraft, it's probably AJ Dillon in really shallow leagues, Jeff Wilson in middling leagues, Deonta Foreman if you're desperate. It's usually running backs in redraft. In Dynasty, Foreman, again, is probably the big name who was not rostered, who you might want to pick up. Other than that, most of the guys who broke out are probably rostered. Maybe I'd throw $0 bid on Marcus Johnson just in case. But Ray McLeod just in case. But I'm not expecting anything there. I
can't believe you just stole the Marvin Johnson name from me. Marcus Johnson name from me. Yeah, that's exactly who I was about to say. So
yeah, but these are some. If you need to make a $0 bid, I mean, in a tight end premium league, I have minimal interest in Josiah DeGuara. Actually, with Robert Tonyan hurt, and also Eagles tight end Tyree Jackson.
Yes.
Tyree Jackson, I actually have interest in him because Dallas Goedert left the game with a concussion. Now, Tyree Jackson didn't show up on the stat sheet. So if someone's just box score watching, they'll miss him.
Mm-hmm.
This was his second game. He's a converted quarterback. It's going to take a little bit of time. Logan Thomas took years to become any sort of receiver at all. Years of nothing at tight end. Tyree Jackson is very, very athletic. And if Goddard is going to miss time, we don't know. Concussion could be back this week. It could be 6 weeks. You don't know. Tyree Jackson stepped in and played a significant number of snaps. So he's someone I'd be very interested in. Very interested in a tight end premium league. I would put in a waiver claim on Tyree Jackson.
Yeah, I like that. I think on Sleeper, you can play him at quarterback too.
I mean, that doesn't help, but
it doesn't help.
You know, I will. That was someone that I wanted to bring up, him specifically. Oh, and Ben Skowronek. I've said him on the show before.
Yeah. No, those are good names.
Those are some names that might actually be available on your waiver wire.
If you're in a deeper league.
And you're in a deeper dynasty league, those are some names that you could take a look at. You know, Jamar Jefferson, maybe. Although he did get hurt.
If somebody dropped Jeff Wilson, that might be somebody to grab.
I don't think he's out there. I think most people held him the whole time. So I don't think he's available. But that would be, obviously, he would be a priority ahead of all of these people.
Right.
He would be the number one priority. And then Tyler Johnson looked actually pretty good in relief, in place of
I've always liked him, man.
I've always liked him, and I think that he would be good if he got a better opportunity. And I'd also
wide receivers on that team, but I love him.
Definitely be rostered, but Donald Parham should be on your roster because Jared Cook is completely washed.
Yeah.
And if Donald Parham is the starting tight end in Justin Herbert offense at any point ever, he's going to carry significant dynasty value. I don't think he's on most waiver wires. He has an ADP, but if he's somehow on yours, I would make a claim.
We at the top of the show, we asked, not quite at the top of the show, but pretty close. We asked you about your trade deadlines. And so Henry says trade deadlines are November 27th.
Too early. Why? What's the point of that?
Well, get ready because
That's even worse.
November 20th.
That's worse.
And then, Ed says some week 12 and some week 15.
I just think it's stupid. I don't get it. I think it's stupid. I mean,
this is the worst.
Well, I mean, someone asked Dynasty Outhouse about this, man, because he hates trade deadlines.
Yeah. I'm with you. Alex says, should I be worried about AJ Brown or DK Metcalf? They seem boomer bust lately. Unless
your name is this year Cooper Kupp, you're boomer bust if you're a wide receiver.
That's right.
So don't be worried about them for that. Now, I have some concerns with these two that are not about that.
Okay. Well, tell me about that.
Well, there are concerns. I mean, AJ Brown just hasn't been what we wanted. I mean, it's not that it's boom or bust. It's just the whole thing hasn't been what we wanted. I mean, this is not what you signed up for, right? I mean, could be in one QB, you spent a first round pick on him, first round starter pick. And this is not what you paid for. It's not. So that has to be a little bit concerning. DK Metcalf, I mean, we're getting ejected. Where our response to catching 3 of our 8 targets and doing nothing the whole game is to throw a temper tantrum. Like, I don't like that. I don't know. And then I don't know what's going on with him, but he also hasn't produced to what we would like. Now, some of that could be blamed on Geno Smith, and Russell Wilson's poor play this week. So I don't know who I'm more worried about. DK Metcalf has been healthier, but AJ Brown seems to have the right attitude. Whereas DK Metcalf certainly lately does not.
I know there's some boom and bust, but DK Metcalf is the wide receiver 7 on the season, at least still. So
in terms of the play on the field, I'm more worried about AJ Brown.
That's interesting because I do have concerns about that offense as a whole. Like, I know they're still like winning games and there's, things, but like this is an offense that did lose a lot of weapons over the course of the offseason, has now lost Derrick Henry, acquired Julio Jones, and now they don't have him. There's not a lot going on there. I mean, it's kind of barren outside of him.
I more mean that DK Metcalf looks fine. he looks like DK Metcalf.
Sure.
AJ Brown looks like AJ Brown most of the time, but it does seem like there's times where he's not good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. That's a little suspicious too. I suspect though with AJ Brown it's injury, and with DK Metcalf it's attitude.
I think injury is probably the right thing with AJ Brown. I don't think these are the kind of players you give up on. They're not going to lose value.
No, I'm not going to give up on them. I really was frustrated by the way DK Metcalf handled the end of the last game. I mean, you lost. You got shut out. Like, this pushing and punching is probably not. That's not going to make you win.
Sure.
That's not what winning teams do. And honestly, maybe that's more of an indictment of what's going on in Seattle. All of it. The coach, the whole thing. I think there are big problems in Seattle that it may go beyond DK Metcalf. Because remember, Tennessee is 8-2, and Seattle is what, 3-6?
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference between being 8-2 and 3-6. You can live with a little down production from AJ Brown when you're 8-2. There's no incentive for them to change anything. But when you're 3-6, things can start to take a big downturn.
Alec, what's up, Alec? Appreciate you joining us. Who to trade in for a second? Who to trade in for a second if you're a contender? Can you guys name some wide receivers or running backs that should be available for that kind of trade?
Sure. A wide receiver? How about, you think you can still get Brandon Cooks for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That would be my first choice.
If there's a team who is, at the very, end, if you're a contender and you're trying to find somebody, Cooks is the type of Cordell Patterson, those type of players. You may be able to get Patterson for a second right now. If you can, that's an easy smash.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, sure. I would be interested in that. I mean, James Conner, potentially, rest of the season. I mean, he's going to give you value. I mean, Hunter Renfrow, you might not even need to pay a second, but he's going to give you value the rest of the season. Christian Kirk, I actually kind of like Christian Kirk. He could deliver you value beyond the season. You get more out of that second.
Kirk has been on quite a run. I'm
Christian
loving
Kirk has made himself like $30 million.
Yeah, he has.
Let me tell you.
I love it.
No, I mean, Christian Kirk is hurting Juju Smith-Schuster's free agency market, because why would you sign Juju Smith-Schuster when you could sign Christian Kirk, who doesn't come with any of Juju's baggage?
Yeah. How crazy is it that that's even being said, right?
It's crazy that I would probably rather, as an NFL team, sign Christian Kirk than Juju Smith-Schuster. Yes, that is crazy. But I think I would rather sign Christian Kirk.
Yep. I'm with you. I think those are some good names. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders, maybe. I don't know if that's somebody
you want a second for Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, maybe not wanting to do a second, but yeah, that type of realm, older players, I just start taking a look at some of the teams that are 1-9 or something like that and see what you can get.
Yeah. You can always get someone really cheap. I mean, you can pay a third for, I guess, Cole Beasley, but Cole Beasley's been phased out of the offense. So AJ Green, Marvin Jones.
Yeah, those are good. Forgive Jonah. I guess I forgive you, Jonah. I'm not sure. I did find out what you did. But what are some wide receivers I could trade Waddle and Devonta Smith, or Waddle and Elijah Mitchell for? PPR.
I don't know why you want to do this.
Now, it does say redraft, so maybe that does.
Redraft, that changes things. I mean, redraft trade? There are not a lot of redraft trades. I mean, I don't know. That's hard for me to think about. Redraft trade. I don't know. I mean, could you buy low on Deontay Johnson? Redraft. But I don't want. I mean, maybe. But I don't want to give up Waddle and Elijah Mitchell for that. Well, if I were giving up Waddle and Elijah Mitchell, I'd have to get one of the best wide receivers. Mitchell, running backs are scarce in redraft.
Man, This is a tough question because I in redraft you're having the trade with somebody who is also still in it.
Yeah.
It's a very different type of trade than we're used to talking about here.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Forgive Jonah. Check us out on Twitter, and maybe we'll get you connected with a good answer on that. Pat says trade Dawson Knox or hold. What do you think about Dawson Knox right now?
I'm fine trading him, but I'm also fine holding him. I mean, coming off an injury, what did he have? 1 reception? That's not a great time to try to trade him. I do think that the role that he had was real.
Yeah, me too.
I still had a big amount of playing time.
I love Dawson Knox. I
like him.
Yeah, he's not a difference maker tight end. If you have a chance to trade a non-difference maker tight end, you trade him.
Yeah. I mean, it always depends on what you can get.
JT all day. Is this Spencer? Does he have a different handle?
This is Spencer's burner.
Yeah, this is Spencer's burner. 10-team Superflex. Give Swift Mac for Burrow Pittman 2 seconds. Also have option to swap 2023 first in for Pittman in what I receive back. What do you think?
I mean, 10-team Superflex quarterbacks are not worth as much. So I'll probably stick with Swift. Swift is worth a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Swift side.
Yeah,
I'm not as excited by the Burrow prospect in a 10-team Superflex. And I'd rather have Pittman over a 23 first easily.
Yeah. Yes, I'm with you. Okay. I'd hold Dawson Knox, says Ed, has an athletic profile. Josh seems to look toward him in decently pass-friendly offense. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Ed. I think this is somebody. I think Dawson Knox is somebody that we could see as a reliable option for the next little while.
Yeah.
Manuel, I don't know how to say the last name. I'm doing Dynasty. I got Kyler Murray as my franchise. Should I give Ryan Tannehill for a second rounder? This Manuel, I'm assuming this is a 1 QB league.
Well, in a 1 QB league, I'd rather have a second rounder over Tannehill. In a Superflex league, obviously not. I'd rather have Tannehill.
Yeah. Pat says, thank you. Ed says, do you only play 1 QB, man?
Well, don't same thing. Shame. Don't league shame.
I think he's just asking to try to answer the question. That's my assumption here. Yeah, 1 QB, non-Superflex. Good. David says, I'm assuming this is Tyreek Hill.
It better be.
Yeah. For Bateman, Judy, and 2 seconds. Strong contender trying to replace Woods, but don't want to sell my entire future.
Do what you need to do. So if you're a contender and this is what you need to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm not as high on Bateman as almost anyone else. So actually, that's not true even. It's not even true. It's just
you have that rap, but it's not true.
It's not even true. It's just that the Twitter community it's the same thing with Antonio Gibson sometimes. They're obsessed with Bateman. I like him, but I don't get the obsession. The obsession is what I don't get. I like him, and I currently have him ranked above his ADP. I hate him so much that I have him ranked above his ADP. I hate him. I must really hate him. I have him ranked above his DLF rank, I believe, too. So
let's get the chat really mad at us. Let's talk about let's talk about how Rashad Bateman is not the wide receiver 1. I think that's all it takes.
Oh, I thought you were gonna get the chat really mad at us by doing something else.
Oh no. I don't know. Is there something else I should do? Maybe I will.
No.
I'll try it, whatever it is. He had his 8 targets the last 2 weeks, which is really good. I think that's close to what we should expect from him, right? I think but I don't think that's going to produce the wide receiver 1 numbers that people expect.
Yeah.
Ed will take a second for Tannehill. Yeah, Henry was not. involved. I've seen someone trade 2022 first for CD Lamb in a 1 QB league. What do you think?
I'm fine with it.
That's the right value.
Yeah, he's worth more than that.
Yeah, I think that's where we are. I noticed that that Lamb, Jefferson, and Chase were the top 3 wide receivers in November DLF ADP.
Yeah.
So I think they got that correct. Pat, how much is Kyler Murray worth in a 1 QB non-super flex?
It's hard to put a value on him. I mean, maybe a first-ish. It's tough.
First-ish.
Yeah.
And Kyler is worth late first if I really need a QB.
It's probably worth more than a late first, but
I don't like. I agree with that. I don't want to trade a first for a quarterback. What are you doing? You're like super distracted. Where are you?
No, I'm surprised at the use of the super chat. I'll answer it. I don't care. I'll answer it.
I didn't even see the super chat.
I'll pull it up and you'll see why. There's a whole. This was what the super chat was used for.
Interesting.
Yes.
Did anybody else comment on this?
What?
Did anybody else in the chat comment?
Yeah, no, that's they were talking about that in the chat. For the record, yes, I got the vaccine a long time ago. I got my second dose of Moderna in April. So yes, very much so. And I don't have too much else to say about that. But yes, this is an odd use of the super chat though.
It is.
You could have. I've definitely said it before on the show, and I think I've been pretty open about the fact that that I got vaccinated a while ago.
Yes.
I definitely talk about it a lot in DM chats on Twitter. But yeah, no, very, very much so. And then I don't want to talk too much about this, but just got boosted yesterday. I was thinking of getting the booster myself at some point. I don't know when I'm going to get that, but at some point I definitely will. But I got I guess it's 7 months, so could be time. But definitely. So
get vaccinated, get your booster.
That was the use of the super chat. Ask whatever you want, I guess. But,
okay. All right. Now we can go back.
There's your answer. There's your answer.
Here we go. All right. We are.
I'm not gonna give you. I'm not gonna give you guys the same thing I always criticize the players for. Oh, it's it's a personal choice or whatever. Like I'll tell you. I always like to be honest with the people. So I got the vaccine.
That's an interesting use of super chat. That's really
it is interesting. But it was asked, so I don't mind answering it.
Can you drop Javonte Williams to pick up Dylan on waiver?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Javonte Williams was starting to gain more of a role. I believe he outsnapped Melvin Gordon and ran more routes than Melvin Gordon this week for the first time. So absolutely not. We cannot drop Javonte Williams. You have to find someone else to drop. Like, this is the same thing. You're dropping a usable running back. You cannot drop a usable running back in any. I assume this must be redraft. You're not dropping Javonte Williams in Dynasty.
No, right.
So you cannot do that. No, you have to find someone else to drop. You can give me some other options, but this is a no. This is a no.
You have to have somebody else that you can drop. There's no way that these are 2 guys you want on your team. So
you must drop someone else. You cannot
find
drop
someone else to drop and pick them up. Like, drop your kicker if you need to.
Whatever you need to do. But I mean, I have Javonte Williams. I mean, he's on bye this week, so I understand why he's coming up. But I've regularly ranked him in the mid to low end RB2 range this year. So you can't drop him. You cannot. If there are 12 teams in your league, how can you afford to drop a running back 2? You can't.
You cannot.
You got to do something else there. That won't do.
Well, and like Javonte Williams has a chance to be league winner if
what if the same injury happens to Melvin Gordon that it happened? Melvin Gordon has a history of missing time.
Absolutely.
What if he missed time and then Javonte Williams would be an RB1 every week, even better than Dylan is now?
That's exactly right. I like Dylan, but I'm not dropping. I'm not dropping him. Javonte Williams for him. Ryan, on a rebuilding Dynasty team, what would you need to add to AJ Brown to ship CMC? So he has CMC and wants AJ Brown. No.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit with AJ Brown, but not much. I mean, if I have CMC and I'm a rebuild and I can get AJ Brown and I mean, I would love if I could get like AJ Brown and Jerry Jeudy. That would be great, right? I mean, we would love that, but we can't always get what we want. So, if I had to settle for like AJ Brown and Elijah Moore, I'd settle for that. AJ Brown in a couple of seconds. But if I had to, I would take AJ Brown in a second if I'm rebuilding. I'd rather that over no deal.
In the November ADP, AJ Brown is going as the 10th player off the board. Christian McCaffrey going off at number 8. So closer in value than you would think.
Right now I have Christian McCaffrey at 8 and AJ Brown at 11. So
right there.
I agree.
Yep. Dustin, hey guys. Happy you guys are back. Yeah. In a 12-team Superflex Dynasty in terms of rookie picks, what would you send for Michael Gallup?
Unfortunately, Michael Gallup is one of those unbuyable players. If someone held him this long and they didn't already move him, you're not going to get him now after he came back and looked good. You had your chance to buy him. You're only going to buy him now if you overpay, so I'd forget it, personally.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to do it this way. The only way you're going to be able to get Gallup is if he's like a throw-in on a much more substantial deal to close it. But you're not going to be able to do it this way.
So ADP data is never meant to be your like, all in, like it's the only thing to look at. It's never meant to be that. And this is a situation where it's even more useless because exactly like you said, the person that held on to Gallup, like his ADP right now is low. It's like wide receiver 90. But nobody's selling him for wide receiver 90 value.
Well, he's not wide receiver 90, 90th overall. Which is not that inaccurate.
90th overall, yeah.
That's not that inaccurate, really.
Wide receiver 43.
Yeah, but that's not that inaccurate, honestly. It's more just that.
No. I'm saying you'll have to. Nobody's going to sell him for that right now. He's there because in a startup, you don't have the like you draft him at 43. You don't have I held on to him this whole time he was injured factor.
In for a penny, in for a pound, right?
Yes. Somebody's going to hold on to him for that long. They like him more.
I will say that I have been telling people on this very show and on my show and in multiple places that I would have been buying Gallup the whole time.
Yep.
So I really like Michael Gallup. I just think it's a little late to make the move now.
Yep. You're a Gallup guy. Tyler's ruthless with underperforming.
You could just cut that off after Tyler is ruthless and you'd be good.
What do we call when people underperform?
Failure.
We haven't got one of those in a long time.
I said Clyde Edwards failure. I said that.
That's true. But are there any players who are underperforming, not meeting expectations that you would recommend people go out and acquire in Dynasty?
Are there any? I mean, Rondale Moore. That would be one. Rondale Moore is the big one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who.
I have a long list of players I will not be acquiring, but those include Dudu Smith-Booster, Michael Never Plays Thomas, Clyde Edwards failure, Travis Rashad Penny Etienne. These players I will not be acquiring any of them. But I mean, to buy, I said Rondale Moore is a good example. Elijah Moore, if people are a little bit disappointed, I'm still very in on him.
What about, would you include Terry McLaurin as somebody who's not meeting expectations to acquire?
His price is still high, though. If his price was where it was, I mean, but his price is 23rd overall in 1 QB. I have him a little bit higher, but not much. So not really. He's not. Chris Godwin, I never understand Chris Godwin's price.
You're out on Courtland Sutton.
Oh, out doesn't even begin to describe it.
Yep.
No, Courtland Sutton is a hard no for me.
Darnell Mooney, you have any hope there?
But I don't know if Darnell Mooney is under. I guess, but I'm not sure he's underperforming.
Yeah, I mean, what did you
expect right now from Darnell Mooney?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's underperforming, really.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk is a good buy for me, but I don't think he's really underperforming.
Rob Downs, rebuilder, gets Javonte Williams too early, mid-2022 first for CMC and Chuba.
More than fair.
Yes, this is an absolute win.
All right, my ranking of Javonte Williams is bold. I have Javonte Williams as my dynasty running back 6, 12th overall.
Wow.
Yes. It's better to be too early than to be too late.
It's true. It's true.
I'm right. I know when you know you're right, I don't have to pay that, right? But I know I'm right. So if I rank it that way now, I can get the value now. Because I can trade for him at his current market value and then realize the value of what I think he really is.
He is 21 years old.
I know. I know. You think I don't know?
It's amazing.
Of all people, you think I don't know?
No, I know you know.
What is he? April? He's April something. April 24th, 2000?
I don't know. Somebody check
Google
that.
Right there. Google that for me.
And yeah, I could see paying 2, 3, 2
slash won't 3. Get him for that though. You probably won't get him. You won't. That won't be enough. They're playing the Chiefs this week. Thinking you're gonna be able to get him out after that?
Probably not. Alex, what's a good price to offer for Hurts and Superflex? Manager's worried he won't be a starter next year. As am I. But I'm a contender, and my QB2 is Baker.
Then you're not a contender. You're not a contender then. You think you can't be a contender if your QB2 is Baker. That means you're not a contender.
Yeah, no.
Because Baker is completely unusable. So you're actually not a contender. So you're gonna have to do something about that. So I would look into Hurts. He's considering 23 seconds and Amon-Ra. That's nothing.
Add to it. Like if he's considering that,
make the trade now. Make the trade now and come back to us later. Yeah. Make this trade immediately.
If he's considering it, add to it and seal the deal because I think he is absolutely worth that, no doubt. He's worth more, that,
no doubt. I mean,
because like even if he's not going to be the Eagles quarterback next year, he's going to be a quarterback somewhere.
But, at a minimum, he's worth a 2022 first and second, no problem.
Look, so Sam Darnold got a job after what he did last year.
But the point of this story is
he's got a job last year after what he did.
But the point of the story is this guy saying he's a contender, but he's not a contender. So he's not a contender, so you have to fix that. And if you put Jalen Hurts in the lineup, I don't know who your QB1 is, but it will help you.
I like it. Bob says tight end premium RB point per carry 14 team.
Point? I assume it's not a whole carry. I assume it's less.
Bob's in some weird leagues. Dalvin Cook and CMC or TJ Hawkinson and JT.
Well, what's the point per carry and what's the premium? But other than that, it's close. I would lean toward the JT and Hawk side, but a lot of it depends on what these premiums are. And
most of it is really heavily on JT. I think JT.
I won't touch Dalvin Cook. Period.
Yeah.
In Dynasty, I won't do it. In redraft, I'm fine with it, but in Dynasty, I just won't do it. I won't do it because the sword is hanging over his head, and I don't want to take someone into the off. When we're talking about 2022, I'm not taking someone into a whole off season. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this all off season. The sword of potential suspension is hanging over his head, and if you read the report, it was bad, and I'm just not having that. I'm not dealing with 8 months of that. So that's going to be a no for me. So just for those reasons alone, I'll lean toward the Hawkinson and JT side. I mean, Dalvin Cook could leave you with nothing. I mean, you don't know.
I think
you're anything to happen.
I think you're the CMC and the Hawkinson. He texted me and said 0.25 for the per carry.
But what was the premium though?
Yeah, tight end premium. Not sure.
That's kind of an important detail.
Yep. Yeah, so glad I put OBJ on the thumbnail. Yeah, Bob is. By the way, Bob is
Dudu Smith-Booster. Dudu Smith-Booster goes very well with OBJ. Actually, those things are actually very related. Whoa! What is this?
Hang on.
Did you take a time machine and bring us to Wednesday?
I don't know what happened. That was weird.
You brought us to Wednesday. You brought us to a time machine on Wednesday. For those who don't know, that's the Wednesday show. It's called the Dynasty Grind.
PJ says, go get Van Jefferson is the future of the Rams. He's not.
What do you mean?
I like Van Jefferson, but I had this conversation with someone today. Like, all that the Rams have done since they brought him in is try to find a replacement for him. They brought in Djax. They brought in OBJ. They drafted Tutu Atwell. Like, I don't trust the Rams to give him any kind of a prominent role going into next season.
I mean, I have him below the guys I trust, but I have him pretty high.
Yeah, this is just not a guy that I want to invest in Dynasty because
I'd love to invest in him, actually.
I don't think the Rams think as highly of him as Twitter does.
Let me put it to you this way. I'd rather have Van Jefferson than OBJ.
Of course.
So I'd rather that at the very least.
Yes. P2 Thark, Taco Tuesday. Great to see you guys. Great to see you in the chat here. Recruiting edits, RBs. Okay, here's his RBs, wide receivers. Would you do Pittman, Henderson, Knox, late 2022 first for CD Lamb and Mark Andrews?
Well, I mean, you need an upgraded tight end. Let's see. So, I mean, Knox in a first is honestly probably short of Andrews. Knox in a late first is short. And Pittman and Henderson is short of Lamb. So I'm going to take the Lamb side.
Yeah, give me the studs there.
Yeah, pretty easily. I'll take the Lamb side.
Andrews has been a revolution this year. I really like what we're seeing.
He's been a revolution.
Well, what we didn't think about is like if Lamar is going to throw as much as as he has, it means great things for Mark Andrews. I don't think we thought about how his value could go up if they throw more. I didn't.
I push back on that though, because Lamar is not playing better. He's not a better passer this year, despite adding Bateman. It actually hasn't helped him at all. But
the volume has definitely helped with his connection with.
Of course, the volume is better because they lost their only two competent running backs a week before the season. What would you have them do? Actually, you should give them credit, right? You should give them credit, like I've given them credit, that they did the right thing and passed the ball more instead of sticking to their offense and just running it with ineffective running backs all the time. We should give them credit for that, and I actually have given them credit, given the Ravens offense credit for making the right coaching decision on that one, but. Yep. They're going to make the right coaching decision again next year when they have J.K. Dobbins and run the ball a lot more. And then the volume's not going to be there. So I am a little bit hesitant on Mark Andrews, but his ADP is silly.
And their RB1, Gus Edwards. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, but Mark Andrews, actually all of the tight ends ADP is too low.
Iron Never Lies. Would you trade? I almost said Devery Henderson. That's my deep.
It's your spy. It's coming out right there.
Yeah. Now I can't think of Henderson's first name. What's his first name?
Darrell Henderson and Keenan Allen for AJ Dillon. No. We're not doing this.
Darrell Henderson and Keenan Allen for AJ Dillon.
No. I'm not sure. I don't think I'd trade Darrell Henderson for AJ Dillon. What's the difference?
I like Dillon, but yeah, this might tell me I need to sell
Jones didn't die.
You probably should be selling AJ Dillon right now.
I'm fine with selling AJ Dillon, but this is I'm fine with
what you're getting.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I'd much rather have Henderson and Allen. Yeah, I don't know. Henderson's going to produce more for you this year, because Jones is going to come back, and then next year, I don't know. Who am I more afraid of? Akers off an Achilles tear or Jones, who has all the money in his contract still?
Sell AJ Dillon. See if you can get J.K. Dobbins for him.
Oh, that would be a miracle.
RB's Kamara, Swift.
No, we just answered this question.
Oh, okay. Must have put it twice. Joey just traded Michael Thomas and 2 late 2022 first. One is the last pick for Hopkins and a 2022 first, probably first 2 pick. So moving up in the draft, looks like, and going from Thomas to Hopkins. It's PPR Superflex, and I needed a wide receiver bad.
Yeah, my invites to these leagues. Why can't I be in these leagues?
I mean, like the addition of the Superflex here to trade up to one of the first 2 picks that's really good.
No, the first 2 pick is worth more than the entire other side.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like Michael Thomas is not worth a first at all in Superflex. So I'd rather have a first 2 pick than 2 late 2022 first. I mean, this is a steal. This is a smash, except for the Hopkins side.
Rob Downs, 1 QB league. Is 2022 rookie draft really that bad? Seems deep in wide receiver, and a few NFL teams will be looking to draft RBs. A few others might have clear opportunities. We don't know. Ultimately,
we don't know. I mean, there has not
have value
in the Dynasty era. There has not been an absolutely abysmal draft, really. I mean, 2016 was not great. I mean, Michael Thomas came out of that, but who else really?
Yeah.
But 2013 was the last really abysmal draft. I mean, and from that draft, the only two players really, I think, who gave you anything are DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen. And I think that's literally it. I don't remember any quarterbacks out of that class, any running backs really. So that Le'Veon Bell, I guess, was in that class. So there was that. But
Ed says it's still early, Rob, in my opinion, but I think the 2022 is a bad year, is a bad narrative.
I agree.
Overblown.
I agree, but I think the correct narrative is that 2023 is really strong. And I think that 2022 is being correctly devalued versus 2023, but incorrectly cast off. I don't think 2022 is that much worse than 2021. 2021 was not a special draft class. It was good, not great.
Right.
I mean, it had a few good players, but 2020 was a special draft class.
2020 was incredible.
Yeah, and imagine, I mean, you lost Akers and Dobbins to injuries, but remember they were in that draft class too.
Yep.
So no, 2020 was special. 2021 was just fine. And I think 2022 will be a little bit of the same. The one difference is that 2022 is weak at quarterback. It's weak at quarterback. You're not going to have 5 starting quarterbacks this year in the draft. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
It's rare for that to happen anyway.
No, it is rare. In 2020, there weren't 5. In 2020, there were 3 plus Love.
Yep. Spence's burner comes back. Swap Mixon second for Javonte and Gordon. Win now team, but other running backs are Chubb, Zeke, Swift, Hunt, Fields.
I'll take my chances on Javonte. I'll take my chances.
Yeah, me too.
I'll take my chances.
Yeah, Ed loves Tyree Jackson for the long term.
I mean, I said that Jacob Harris had a lot of potential. I was in on Juwan Johnson. I mean, these don't always work out, but
they don't always.
When they do, you could get Darren Waller, Logan Thomas, and then it's worth it. Worth a shot.
Yeah, PJ, trade deadlines are failure.
I agree. Trade deadlines are stupid.
P2 Thar at our trade deadline in my league this week. No, God, it's way too early.
Yeah, I really think that it should, there's no reason to have a trade deadline in the middle of the regular season. That just doesn't work for me.
We talk a little bit about Marcus Johnson. He's fine.
But Marcus Johnson is also, it's not like I've never heard of Marcus Johnson. Marcus Johnson flashed when he was in Indianapolis a couple of times and then went right back where he belongs to being completely worthless. So the answer to this question is no. But you can pick him up if you have to. Are
you worried about Darren Waller?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. I mean, really what's happened is that there's Kyle Pitts, who's worth a lot. Mm-hmm. And then everyone else is kind of worth the same.
Yeah. Agreed. What are your thoughts on Zach Moss in a 1 QB league?
Dead to me.
I just don't think
if they're going to have a 3-way committee, then Zach Moss is dead to me.
Yeah. DK is a mess. He's a super diva. I don't know.
I don't mind. So I mean, honestly, I'm probably as pro players and as pro expression as you'll find. I just, I don't like when people punch people and get ejected. I can't support that. I can't support. I can't go for that. That part I can't go for. So I don't like that. But, I don't mind if someone's a little bit flashy, but at the end of the day, I care about fantasy numbers. They put up fantasy numbers on my team. I'll like them. But if they don't put up fantasy numbers on my team, then I won't.
Yeah, Ed says Zach Moss is a roster clogger.
Correct. Yeah, correct. He's not as big of a roster clogger as his teammate, Devin Singletary, but Moss is up there.
Well, if Russell Wilson leaves Seattle next year, DK stock could plummet. Maybe, but he's not the kind of guy I think that would be so detrimentally, his value would be so detrimentally hurt by Wilson leaving. I don't think he is. Has
Wilson really been that great?
Yeah,
this year,
unfortunately.
No. So the last game was really bad.
Did you say
I don't know.
Jeff Wilson over Dylan? No.
No, absolutely not.
No, definitely not. Riley rebuilding and looking to buy one of the injured young running backs. Who do you like most out of Dobbins, Etienne, and Akers? For a long time, we said Dobbins.
Still say Dobbins.
Yeah, I still think we missed out on an incredible year from him in this offense.
I
like,
100%
it would have been so special.
We know exactly what J.K. Dobbins is going to do. We know he's walking right back in. He's walking right back in as the starter. Mm-hmm. We know that the offense is Lamar Jackson. We know it's Harbaugh. We know exactly what he is. It's an ACL tear. He's going to be fine. He's going to be ready. And we know exactly what's happening. With the other two, not so much. There's a lot more uncertainty.
Pete Suthara traded CMC this weekend along with Jordan Howard, 2022 third and 2022 fifth for the 2022, 2023, and 2024 first. I got 3 first in 22, 2 in 24. Rebuild is on.
Yeah.
He's fine.
It's fine. I mean,
3 first for CMC basically here, and it's
fine. I mean, he turns 26 in February, and you probably never get this price again after the season's over, right? I mean, you probably don't get this price. So it's okay, but it's better than no deal. Yeah. But I'd like to have done a little better than that, honestly.
Riley says, you think Sutton is a buy low right now? Or you must be new to the show.
Stay away. Yeah, stay away. He looks terrible. He looks terrible. I mean, he has, in his career, has he ever had produced anything when Jerry Jeudy's been on the field? Ever, even one time? Has he ever produced with Jerry Jeudy? The answer to that question is no, actually, just for the record. He's never actually done anything with Jerry Jeudy on the field. And I don't see why he ever would. So no. He doesn't even look that much better than Tim Patrick. And what's funny? He didn't actually look that much better than Tim Patrick when Jerry Jeudy was out. So absolutely not. Courtland Sutton has never been the same after his injury, and I don't think he ever will be. I'm just done with Courtland Sutton completely. I would sell low. I'm fine just getting out. I don't want any part of Courtland Sutton.
What would you be happy with if you were trading JT away?
Is your soul on the table? I'll be happy with that. If your soul's on the table, I'll listen to your offer.
You're gonna wind up hating football if you trade JT away right now. You're not gonna.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna trade JT away. We're not gonna trade Chase away. We're not gonna trade Jefferson away. We're not gonna trade these three. These three we're gonna keep. We're gonna keep those players. We're not gonna trade them.
Cold Fusion, Keenan Allen and Darren Waller for mid-2022 first. Hawkinson, Rager. If not, or not feeling this, in my opinion, my side is Allen and Waller.
Well, I mean, Rager is irrelevant. So irrelevant. Yeah. You can drop him from your dynasty team. Yeah. He's irrelevant. The other pieces, I mean, Hawkinson and Waller are similar.
They are right now, I guess. Yeah.
Hawkinson, just because Hawkinson is the age factor.
But I think Hawkinson's situation is going to improve, and
they're going to get more weapons.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's an improvement.
As long as he gets a new quarterback at some point, which he should.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'll lean the Hawkinson side barely.
Yeah, me too. Some context, I guess, on what your record is and what you're trying to accomplish, but.
Also, when you say your side does that mean you have that side now, or that's the side that you're getting? Are you rebuilding? What a little bit of context would help here. Is there premium? That kind of stuff. Superflex.
Robert Hunt says, "Did you like my touchdown run last Thursday?"
There's no way this is really you.
Should I trade Metcalf for Swift?
Yes, I would take Swift. And if this is really you, prove it. And I will give you a shout out on my own YouTube channel.
Yeah,
that you're my favorite NFL player.
Prove it. Whoops. Weez, would you give Dylan a mid-first next year, 2023 first, 2023 second for Justin Herbert and Superflex?
Yes. Easily, yes.
That's probably the right value.
No, it isn't.
It hurts.
He's worth more than that.
2 first. What's Dylan worth?
Dylan's not even worth a first in Superflex even now. So
All right. That's probably right then.
This is what you have to pay, and honestly, that's not enough.
Zeke or Javonte in Dynasty?
Javonte. Easily.
I thought Javonte, I can only drop Renfro, Brandon Cooks, or Dalton Schultz. Need him for week 12. Kelsey.
Drop Schultz and just pick someone else up. I mean, he had no production at all this week. So drop Schultz for now, and then worry about right now we're on week 11. You can worry about week 12, and you get to anything could happen.
Yeah. Or
an earthquake could occur, and the NFL could be canceled.
Thank you, Kyle.
The world could end. So we're not on week 12 right now. We're on week 11. So just drop Dalton Schultz and do what you need to do.
This is one of those situations where I just drop my kicker and I pick him up. If your league allows you to do that, just if you have a kicker, just drop him.
No, just drop Schultz. You have Kelsey. You don't need Schultz.
And then I would probably somewhere around the end of the week drop Schultz and pick up another kicker.
But you do what you need to do, right? I mean, you do what you need to do.
Yeah. Will, what's up, Will? Appreciate you tuning back in. 16-team league and 8-2. Just lost Aaron Jones for who knows how long. But
I think we know how long Aaron Jones is going to be out. I think Aaron Jones is going to miss the next 2 games, the bye week, and come back week 14. I'm confident in that.
Yeah, that seems right. Traded the second place teams first and my second for Fournette, Tyler Conklin, and McKissick.
In a 16-team league, I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with that.
No, it's good, especially losing our Aaron Jones and trying to be.
Yeah, no, I don't have any problem with that. If you're 8-2, go for it.
Yeah, league's deadline is brutal. Go get Allen Robinson. Interesting.
No, Allen Robinson is still overvalued, so no.
I want to see coming off the bye week if they figure out how to get him more involved.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind ADP on Allen Robinson. I mean, he's going to turn 29 before he's fantasy usable again. I think I'm good.
Will likes your Dudu Smith-Pooster.
Well, it's not the first time I've said it.
No. What are your thoughts selling Mark Andrews on a rebuilding team? The tight end landscape doesn't seem to have that elite tier well above anyone else anymore. Where they maybe I would vehemently disagree. Travis Kelce is averaging 15 more points than like the tight end 4. So
yeah, I mean, I would listen to offers. Like I would listen to offers for. I mean, if I'm a rebuilding team, I'm not really listening about Jamar Chase. I'm not listening about Kyle Pitts. I'm not listening about those high-end quarterbacks in Superflex. But I'll listen about almost anyone else, Mark Andrews included.
About 6 points per game difference between Kelce and Hunter Henry, who's the tight end.
But I don't have any issue. I don't have any issue selling Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Andrews is right there with him, man.
I'll pull up the super chat before it runs away.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm not even seeing that. So if you see them, go ahead and pull those up.
Yeah. Okay. Send Dak and Mixon for Josh Allen and the 2022 102. I don't know how we know that exactly. Superflex. This tough. How do we know that exactly? That's a little confusing.
Ooh, okay. So, I mean, Josh Allen, I would still have as a top 3.
Yeah, I'd much rather have Josh Allen than Dak. They're not in the same tier for me anymore.
Yeah, no. Dak's still really, really good, but
Dak's still good, but he's not in the tier with Allen.
So it's an upgrade. Is it enough of an upgrade?
I mean, I'd probably rather. I mean, going into next year, at draft time, I'm probably going to rather have the 102 than Mixon. So if you're not competing, I would take the Allen side pretty easily. I don't know how you know it's exactly the 102, but let's say that you do. Like coming out of a Superflex draft in April or May, you're going to want the 102 over Mixon at that point.
Then it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's the Allen side. But
yeah,
if you're competing, and this might be tough, but I assume you wouldn't do this if you were competing. So
if you're competing,
then take the Allen side. And also, it's nice to see you back, Colin. I've
absolutely.
One of my biggest supporters, actually. So thank you.
Appreciate the question. Josh Allen in that 102. Tanner, give AJ Brown and Darrell Henderson for DeAndre Swift and Corey Davis.
Nah. I'm not that interested in Corey Davis. This is not good enough.
Gilchrist is everywhere. Yeah, Bob Gilchrist. He's the Bob father, of course.
I would say he's everywhere, yeah.
And he made this for us. So yeah, go check out Bob and his work. He's great. Let's see. Juju does suck. Yeah, I'm sorry
Pile on him, but he doesn't suck, but he's just a guy.
Sup guys?
That's
OBJ...
a meme. Yeah, that's a meme. He did not actually request the trade. The trade deadline is passed.
But he also didn't give up on that route. It was a broken play. He read it differently than Stafford did. He didn't give up on a route.
But he was terrible. I mean, he was terrible. He was terrible like he's been all season. Why would
3 days? Yeah, come on.
But what's the excuse for why he was terrible for the rest of the year?
No, I don't know, man. I'm not saying he's great. I'm just saying, like,
I'm so tired.
Using Monday night as the reason why, I just don't.
But he was so bad before. Why would he just become magically better? I don't understand.
PJ, the Rams don't have any draft picks, so Van to the moon.
No, I'm fine with him. I mean, he's a player. Look, this is a high-powered offense. It's Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford. I mean, you want players in this offense, so I'm fine with having him on my team.
You have a word you would normally use to describe the beginning of his career here.
Not really. Wouldn't call him a failure.
It hasn't been great.
It's been pretty good. All things considered, it's been pretty good.
This feels like Brian Edwards all over again.
Well, Van has produced more this year than Brian Edwards ever has.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So,
do you still value DJ more over Debo? I don't at this point. Not anymore. Not anymore.
I do. I do. And I understand why that's going to be a little bit difficult, but I still do.
I do not at this point. So looking at ADP. Oh, ADP has Debo at wide receiver 12. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
DJ Moore wide receiver 8.
Yeah, I have it. I have it almost exactly with ADP. I have DJ Moore at wide receiver 7. And
Moore's still younger than Debo somehow.
I'm aware of that.
That's crazy.
And I have Debo at wide receiver 15. So maybe I'm not as on him.
Alex, thanks, guys. Had Rodgers as QB2 until recently, but gave him up with McLaurin to get Chase and Baker.
All right, I'll accept it because you were getting Chase.
Yeah, QB1 is Dak. If you ever plays. Yeah.
Watson will play again. I've hesitated to say this, but if you're a rebuilding team, I might look at buying Deshaun Watson for a quarterback who's playing now. His ADP says you can.
Josh Jacobs for Mike Gesicki?
Well, unless there's if there's a premium, then sure. It has
to be a premium, yeah.
It has to be a premium. Gesicki is just not enough of a difference maker for me.
Alex says, I'm tanking in my rebuild. I have 3 first rounders, 3 seconds, 5 thirds, 2022. Moss, ETN, Kirk, Mooney, Tony, Judy, Gallup, Fuller, and Samuel. What would be planning?
My plan? I mean, I'd get rid of most of these players. Well, not most of them. I mean, Fuller, I'd get rid of my earliest opportunity. Samuel, the same thing. Moss can go. ETN can go. I'd hang on to Judy, Tony. Mooney can probably go. I'd probably sell Kirk once he signs in free agency. Really, Judy and Tony are the ones here that I actually want to build around. And then you have your picks.
Yep.
That would be my plan. I mean, obviously, this team is a disaster. So we need to rebuild.
Ed says if you're trying to move those thirds, maybe try to move some thirds to
move
up into the second.
I feel confident in my ability to make draft picks. I wouldn't be moving those thirds. I like to hang on to thirds.
No, but if you can move Kirk in a third,
sure, if you can do that. But that's not usually what I'm looking to do.
Clue 10123 or Gallup and Sutton holds on rebuilding teams until we see where they go in free agency.
If Gallup and Sutton had the same value, then sure. The problem is that one of them is extremely overvalued, and that's Sutton. And Gallup is not. So they're actually in a very similar situation. They're going to wash out of the location they're in because other people are better. And
I think once the offseason starts, the hype for where Gallup could sign could produce more value for him than when he actually does sign. So he's the kind of guy I would put on the block as free agency opens up just to see what you can get on him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm fine selling either one. Sutton's the one I worry about more.
For sure. Because I can see Gallup end up just signing back with Dallas and everybody just.
That's very unlikely.
I don't know. We'll see. Isco, what's Cam worth at this point in Superflex? Feels like he could be starter in Carolina again next year.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. No, I mean he's worth a couple of seconds. I mean, he's never gonna be worth a first again. He's never gonna have a secure enough hold on a job to be worth a first. And as for could he be the starter next year? I think it's possible. They might not have a choice.
I think it's possible too. I think if he goes on a little bit of a run here, I think that absolutely. I think the Panther fans will start clamoring for it.
I do think that Cam's arm is shot, but if I've compared Cam to Taysom Hill many times. I think that's what he has left. Honestly, is similar passing skills to Taysom Hill, and except more athletic. I mean, we know that Cam is more athletic than Taysom Hill ever was. So,
we're gonna try to run
Taysom
through
Hill on steroids, basically.
Run through a bunch of these if we can. What would you do if you're a rebuilding team who has 3 2022 first and 4 2022 seconds?
Yeah, hold on to them. That's a good place to be. And then if, during rookie fever, if at the draft you get ridiculous offers for them, hold on to them until like the week of the draft. And if you get ridiculous offers, you get ridiculous offers.
Yep. I would do nothing with them until
now.
Right before the draft is when.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that a lot when we get to the draft.
Point still stands, but haven't Sutton and Judy only played in like 5 games together?
5 games is enough, though. It's enough because you see who they're designing plays for. Sutton's been there the whole time. And the second Judy comes back, all those plays go away from Sutton and they all go to Judy. They're making an effort, despite the fact that Judy is the one coming off an injury now, direct injury. They made an immediate effort to re-involve Judy in the offense. They made no such effort for Courtland Sutton at all. It's like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Who's the one they're scheming into the offense? Mm-hmm. They're scheming in Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk gets what he gets. That's what's going on here. Jerry Jeudy is being schemed in. They're forcing him the ball, and Sutton just gets what he gets. So that's what's going on, and I don't want any part of that. So Sutton, I used to think it was a lock that Sutton would re-sign there, but now I'm not so sure.
Local liability wants to know the value of AJ Dillon, so I pulled up the trade finder here.
I'll take first. I think a first would be nice.
AJ Dillon and a third or a first. This is the trade finder.
Superflex?
This is a 1 QB league.
I think he can do better. Pass.
Let's see. AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon and Christian Kirk for Calvin Ridley.
Oh, give me Dillon and Kirk. I don't want any part of Ridley.
Dillon and a first for Kyle Pitts and a third.
No. Kyle Pitts. Yeah, we're not doing that.
PG Thar had to work pretty hard for those 3 first for CMC.
And it was never. And if that was the case, it was never going to get better. So if you're a rebuild and you had to make a trade, and this was the best trade you had to make, you did what you had to do. You did what you had to do phrase goes for a rebuild or 2. It's not just for a contender.
Is Hawkinson a sell now?
No. Why would you sell him after he put up a goose egg? This is not a good time. So no,
not a good time.
Not a good time.
Nope. And again, in Dynasty, like I gotta think his better years are in front of him.
I agree. Given his age, I mean, Dynasty tight ends don't tend to break out until 25, let alone have the prime of their career. I mean, prime of career for a tight end is 27, 28, 29. But typically before 25, they usually don't do much.
He's 24. Mark Andrews still 25 years old.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Rashad Bateman? Seen so much love for him recently and don't really know what to think.
There are just too many people who are so in on Rashad Bateman that I just never be able to have him on my team. I like him. I think he's good. I think he's really good, but people think that he's like the next thing. People think he's a Hall of Famer already. And I'm like, there was one of those in this. There was one of those in this class. Jamar Chase was in this class. That was in this class. A future Hall of Fame profile was in this class. There was just only one of them. And everyone else was really good and just not that. That's all. I just don't see him as a guaranteed surefire Pro Bowler. But some people do.
Yeah, a lot of smart people love Bateman. But to me, he's a sell at the moment. I think that's good take.
Yeah.
Claypool's the next Juju. Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, Claypool's a very different type of player, but Claypool's having his own problems. I have some issues with him.
Claypool.
Why is he constantly injured? I don't like that. I don't like missing time. Missing time is no good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about him. Claypool is someone I'm just kind of tired of.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about some wide receivers that were having a down year earlier in the show. We named
Claypool
a few.
didn't really get a mention from me, so
yeah,
he's not on that list.
Nope. Yeah, Adam, what's up? Got in here. Callan Carp, the homies. We appreciate you stopping by.
Love you, Adam.
Always love that. PJ Sutton will be better when he gets fully healthy. Why is it taking so long though?
No, it's taking too long. ACL tear was in week 3. He's out of excuses for me.
No, wasn't it preseason?
No, it was in week 3 of 2020, but he's out of excuses. He's out of excuses. I mean, he was healthy enough to play week 1, and now we're in week 10. I don't want to hear about an ACL injury from last year. He's been healthy enough to play the last 9 games. I've had enough of his excuses. There are no excuses. The excuses is that he's not good enough. Those are the excuses. I mean, that's what's going on here, is that he's not good enough. That's all.
PJ sell Cam ASAP. He's dust. A 3-yard run and a 5-yard pass.
I got to tell you, as much as I think that Taysom Hill is the worst quarterback you could possibly play for real life, I mean, for fantasy, he was a QB1 when he played, right? So,
bingo.
I don't care. Like, I can say Cam is dust all I want, and believe me, I'll be downgrading those receiving weapons. I am not planning on Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall being useful. I think it'll be Christian McCaffrey will always be able to play, and DJ Moore, he's going to be a low-end wide receiver too. I mean, that's what he is for the rest of the season. But, yeah, I think Cam is dust, and I really hope for DJ Moore's sake that Cam is not the 2022 starter. That would be a big problem.
I don't know that it's a downgrade from Sam Darnold. I just hope that if they're going to do something, like do something big,
I would hope so.
Get a really good quarterback in there.
Yeah, it's not a downgrade from how Sam Darnold was playing the last 3 weeks.
Right.
Nobody could be that bad.
No.
So it's not a downgrade from that. It could be an upgrade from that. It was so bad it's possible that it got better.
Yeah, this has been my experience here too. Had a hard time moving Sutton. Yeah.
I feel like Sutton is unpopular.
Yeah.
And his few truthers are out of excuses. What are the excuses now? He really didn't deliver when Judy was injured. He wasn't healthy that whole time. He played in all those games and he wasn't healthy the whole time. There's just too many excuses. And excuses don't score me any fantasy points, right?
Yeah.
How many fantasy points? Is there a scoring category for excuses? I don't think so. So I don't want more excuses. So I'm good with Courtland Sutton. He can be on someone else. He can be someone else's problem in Dynasty. I don't want to deal with him anymore. He's already 26 too.
Teddy's played well. I don't think he's a problem for Sutton.
I wouldn't say Teddy's played well, but why can Tim Patrick? The fact that Tim Patrick is able to put up anything similar to Courtland Sutton's numbers is the problem. That tells you that it's a Courtland Sutton problem.
Yeah.
Not all Teddy.
Yeah. Tim Patrick's pretty good.
Right. But if we're comparing Courtland Sutton to Tim Patrick, then we have a big problem.
Yeah, look, if this is your expectation for Bateman being a great wide receiver, I think he'll be even a little bit better than that. He just won't be.
I think he's already a wide receiver 3. I think he's a wide receiver 3 now.
He just won't be a top.
He just doesn't have a wide receiver 1 ceiling. Not on that team.
Yeah.
Not on that team.
Ted is a decent game manager. He has been. The numbers say he's been better than that this year, though. Like he's actually
not lately. Not in the last game. Last game was not so good. Not so good. I mean, he's fine.
Jack, Superflex, PPR, Devonta Smith, AJ Dillon, 22 late, or Jamar Chase.
I'll still take Jamar Chase.
It's Jamar Chase.
This is just not enough. I mean, we're talking about in Superflex, AJ Dillon is probably worth an early second in Superflex. Devonta Smith is worth a late first. So it's 2 late firsts and a AJ Dillon for Jamar. It's just not enough.
Last question, Bob, the Bob father. He says, I say the tight end 1 in Dynasty at age 21. Kyle Pitts makes tight end relevant early. You mentioned them not being, super relevant until 25. Kyle Pitts is a little bit of a unicorn, though. This is a very
because he's not actually a tight end.
The only
Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver with a tight end designation.
That's the only tight end ever to be a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award.
Right,
ever.
But Kyle Pitts is not a tight end. Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver who you can play in fantasy as a tight end. That's why he's different. We thought that Evan Ingram was that. He's not. We thought that Noah Fant was that. He's not. Kyle Pitts is actually a mold breaker.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of tight ends.
I will say, though, that if Matt Ryan plays like he did this week, I don't care how good Kyle Pitts is. He's not going to produce. He's not going to produce if Matt Ryan plays like that. I mean, that was an embarrassing performance. I mean, a veteran quarterback, I don't care how many weapons you don't have. You got to do better than that,
That's what that side is. Spock says, what do we do with Brandon Cooks and Allen Robinson?
Oh, well, Brandon Cooks, you just hold if you're a contender and just if you're a rebuilder, sell for what you can get.
Yep.
Allen Robinson, nobody wants him. So you can try to sell, but at this point, I would wait until the day he signs that free agent contract and then he's gone. That was my thing with OBJ. The day he signed with a new team, he was gone.
Yep.
For me. And now that's how I feel about Allen Robinson. The day he signs, he's gone for me in Dynasty.
Tyler, fantastic job. What do you have coming up that we can look for? Anything exciting?
Me? Well, I have my usual article sequence, my Sunday 6-pack, and then Monday hangover at DLF. So I've been doing that all season, and I'll be doing that for the rest of the year. And then I don't have any special articles. I've been very, burnt out with everything and just trying to cover the things that other stuff. So no extra articles on the horizon. And then I have my Twitter, which is on the page. So everything is always routes through there. I have my own YouTube channel. I usually go through and comment on these videos from that channel. So just look for that. I always try to give my thoughts to add to Addison's thoughts from the DLF channel. And I have my Patreon, patreon.com/fantasy advice. And I think that's it. Yeah. Just appreciate the audience for listening. Like always, we've had a very, very active chat the last few weeks.
Absolutely.
I've heard even more feedback today about the time being moved back to 9 p.m. Eastern. I heard more positive feedback. People really like that change. So we're 100% that will be a permanent change. We'll be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, moving forward and going until about 10:30. So
100%. Very
reiterate that at the end of the show.
Very special thanks to Bob Gilchrist. He came up with our every single week. He sends me one of these, which is just amazing. He does fantastic work. Make sure that you are following Bob Gilchrist. Special thanks to at Aardvark TV, Feverish Finero, for the intro video that you saw at the beginning of the show. Appreciate all of your hard work, Tyler. And I'm at Calvin and Hobby. Make sure you're following at DL Football.
Definitely.
For all of those guys, special thanks. Seriously, so grateful for everybody in the chat. The conversations are so great. We appreciate all the questions. And appreciate helping us help you. And Tyler, I look forward to seeing as we go throughout the week, the special announcement that you had. Make sure everybody goes and checks that out.
Yes, please do.